We've learned tonight that the beloved Friends actor Matthew Perry died from the effects of ketamine. The coroner just releasing those findings, saying that Perry had been receiving ketamine infusion therapy for depression and anxiety. So what is ketamine and how did it lead to his death? Joining us now is Dr. Ali Jamador, the medical director at Dignity Health St. Mary. Thanks for being with us. So let's start there. For people that haven't heard of ketamine, what is it?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. A lot of new information coming out. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic. Basically what we use it for usually is in the OR for operations, in the emergency room for sedating patients, for performing painful procedures. It works in a couple of different ways, and the specific mechanism of action is not very clear. But this is an unusual report because it really does not have usually much to do with the respiratory effect of patients, and so usually it does not have any respiratory failure type findings. And so this is an interesting report that came out.
So we know that he was prescribed to get ketamine therapy, but this was not particularly part of his ketamine therapy. How does ketamine therapy work, and what do we think might have happened here?
Yeah, great question. So ketamine infusion. So ketamine, the first part that I spoke about, is in very large doses, and it can be an anesthetic. In a ketamine infusion clinics, it's used at a much lower dose. And if I read the report correctly, his last infusion was about a week and a half before this episode. So right. The half-life, which means the amount of time that it takes half the medicine to get out of your system, is very short. It's only about 3 to 4 hours. So it's very unlikely that the ketamine infusion that he received a week and a half ago had anything to do with this. Ketamine does come in many different forms. It comes in nasal sprays and oral tablets. And so most likely this is related because the report mentions very high doses of ketamine in the system. Most likely this was either something that he was prescribed and was a nasal spray, or pills that he was taking, not the actual infusion that was happening in the clinic.
And we know, of course, he has a long history of substance abuse. Even in his memoir, he wrote about taking ketamine in the past. It's something that a lot of folks do. So is it addicting? Is this something that the average folk watching this right now who may have experienced this, or some people we know use this in some sexual situations? What should people know about ketamine?
So ketamine certainly can be abused. Any medicine that can have psychedelic effects or anything that has that kind of a effect on patients, and if you have the personality that can have that addictive personality, there is that aspect of the addiction, and then there's the physical aspect of it. It is not very physically addictive. So for example, when you take opiates such as Vicodin or Norcos, you can actually have a withdrawal symptom if you stop taking those. So that's a different kind of addiction, that part of it. Ketamine does not really have that aspect of it, but it does have the dependence of, the psychedelic effect and those kind of desires that can get you addicted to that medicine. So this is a heavy-duty medicine. Yeah. In a controlled manner in a clinic, where and by the way, propofol, for example, is a great example where Michael Jackson, as we know, passed away from an overdose and increased amounts of propofol. We use that every day, so it's a great medicine. For example, ketamine is also a great medicine. We shouldn't give it a bad rap, but it can be abused, and we can see what effects it can have, so it can be very dangerous, yeah.
Well, thank you for your perspective on this. It is so sad, unfortunately, that we lost Matthew Perry like this. Appreciate your perspective.
Yeah.